Thanks again for joining us here at Beantown Fantasy Football. This is our running back edition going into week 4. We're going to start with Ace Wonder here. He's going to tell you who you should be starting in week 4. Who do you like, Ace?
I like Steven Jackson going against the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of weapons on Rams are hurt. Mark Bulger, Laurent Robinson out for the season. Bulger's looking out for a while. Steven Jackson's the only weapon there. He's had 2 straight 100-yard games. I expect another one this week.
All right, who else are you starting?
Starting Ray Rice going against the New England Patriots. Again, no Mayo, no Will Fork. Ray Rice, a whole lot of middle is going to be open there. Even though Willis McGahee has been vulturing some touchdowns, I still think Ray Rice is going to put up solid yards this week against the New England Patriots.
Where's your pride?
I think we'll be drinking early here in New England this Sunday.
There's no hometown loyalty in fantasy sports.
I know. I agree with you. I mean, New England does have trouble with the little backs that got some moves.
All right, we all know that sometimes the big decision is not so much who to start, but who should not be in your starting lineup to help you out. Who are you not starting?
Even though it's a bye week and it might be tempting for him to put him in, but I think Marshawn Lynch should remain on your bench. Fred Jackson has emerged as a quality back there. I think Lynch is going to work his way in there, and it's going to be a couple of weeks before fans should put him in the starting lineup and expect some points out of him.
Yeah.
Best to wait.
Yeah. Definitely.
Definitely.
Takes a while to get back into
pretty
football
good looking
shape.
back.
Good advice. Mark Fury, give me 2 starting running backs that are going to be in your lineup this weekend.
Well, the first one I'm going with is Cedric Benson against the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, yeah.
He's been banged up a little bit, but he practiced fully later in the week, and I expect Cincinnati to be up big, so he's going to get a bunch of carries. He's been playing very well so far, playing the best of his career. He's averaging almost 100 yards a game, 4.4 a carry. Both are very high for him. He's facing a terrible defense. You should feel safe putting Cedric Benson into your lineup.
All right, who's your second back?
Well, my second back is Matt Forte against the Detroit Lions. He's also a little bit beat up, but he's practicing again. He's a full participant, and the Lions haven't been able to stop the run so far this year. I don't think it's going to change. Forte, he's disappointing owners right now. He hasn't lived up to his top 5 status, but don't give up on him yet. He's one of those guys who he's a much better fantasy player than a real football player, even though he's no slouch on the real field. But he's getting involved in the passing game. He's going to get some catches. He's going to get some rushing yards. He'll probably even score. You should feel safe putting Forte in there. Don't give up on him.
I agree.
I don't know about Forte. He's just a pedestrian running back.
Well, a pedestrian running back with a great situation can get you fantasy points.
Oh,
you don't want the best players, you want the best situation. He's going to catch the ball, he's going to run the ball.
Okay, Mark, who's not going to be in your starting lineup at running back going into week 4?
I'm not starting Kevin Smith of the Detroit Lions. Another guy who was drafted pretty high, but he's disappointed so far. He got hurt last week against the Redskins, and he had to miss the end of that game. He's iffy coming into this game. It looks like he's going to play, but I'm still benching him anyway. He's got a tough matchup against Chicago, and he's struggled when he's been in there. He's got a low yards per carry. He's only averaging about 68 yards a game, and he's only scored once. I don't see any of these trends reversing against a tough Chicago defense.
All right, BG, give me 2 solid picks at running back this week. Who should the fans be starting?
First off, I gotta go with Thomas Jones at New Orleans this week. You know it's gonna be a shootout. I think the Jets are gonna be doing a lot of inside running against this New Orleans defense. So, I mean, why not start Thomas Jones? New York's gonna try to control the ball and keep New Orleans' offense off the field. Jones looks good so far this year, so I mean, I would do Thomas Jones against New Orleans. Why not? And for my second running back, I would have to go with Clinton Portis at home versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers got that young defense. I think Washington will get a lead early because of Campbell. And Portis is going to get a lot of carries eventually. So I think he's going to close the game in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
I'm with you with Thomas Jones. I think he's going to have a big game. The only way you can keep Breeze off the field, or from scoring, is if you keep him off the field.
Yep.
And I think their whole running game's going to, the whole running back situation is pretty good this week. The Saints have had trouble covering the pass to running backs this year. So Washington can have a big game too.
Yeah, you're not going to throw against New Orleans, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Good pick, BG. Now, somebody that's not going to be in your starting lineup going into week 4.
At running back, I would say Ryan Grant at Minnesota. Minnesota got that front four. They got a nice defense. I mean, I think if Green Bay's going to move the ball at all against Minnesota, it's going to be through the air. I would sit Ryan Grant this week. You all know Minnesota got that good run defense. They've had it like that for the last 10 years or so. And there it is.
Well said.
And I expect Green Bay to be able to pass on this team too, so
Yeah.
it's even less opportunity for Ryan Grant.
It's the only way to attack him.
Well, what about you, Jaker? Who are you starting?
Well, you know me, I love a strong cup of coffee, and that's going to be my caffeine buzz going into week 4. I'm starting Glenn Coffey of the San Francisco 49ers. He is going against the St. Louis Rams. Need I say anymore?
Yeah. Same old Niners.
They are
same
giving
old
up,
Rams.
the St. Louis Rams are giving up an average of 150 yards rushing right now, running backs. I look for Glenn Coffey to have at least that, and probably 2 scores. I think that's not out of the question. He's going to be the every down back. Expect about 20 touches, maybe 25. Definitely go with Glenn Coffey. He will be your buzz this weekend too.
Well, with Frank Gore out for at least this week, Coffey sounds like a solid pick. But who else are you starting?
I love Ahmad Bradshaw going against the Kansas City Chiefs. I do not see him perhaps having as many touchdowns as one would like, but I think that someone is going to need to rack up the yardage, and that man is going to be Ahmad Bradshaw. I think he'd also be good for 100 yards rushing. Maybe a score, but you definitely count on him for the rushing aspect of it. Kansas City, I think they're going to focus a lot on the passing game. You got Manningham, you've got Smith. It's going to open up a lot for the running game, and I'm still not sold on Eli Manning on this matchup either, so I definitely would go ahead and start Ahmad Bradshaw.
Who are you staying away from?
I'm staying away from LaDainian Tomlinson of the San Diego Chargers. I think it's about time for those out there that have not come to this realization. He is not the LaDainian Tomlinson of years past. Darren Sproles is eating into his carries, and you're going against a tough Pittsburgh defense anyway. This would be a good week to sit LaDainian Tomlinson.
Especially since Tomlinson looks like he's going to be a game-time decision. You know, game-time decisions are always risky.
Safe
And
to
then
put him on the bench.
if he comes in, he still might not give you much. So
Yeah, he doesn't like to play injured, so unless he's 100%, you never know with Tomlinson.
Just too much uncertainty there. Well, that's been our running back edition of Beantown Fantasy Football. We'll be back